Episode 4, taking this total basket case of a car and making something cool out of it. And hope you guys are enjoying the videos. You will see how I take some rusty doors which look like they're almost beyond repair and fix them and make my rails down the side.
The fabrication of the monster car is coming along fantastic. I've almost got everything fabricated where I'm going to have to start taking everything off again to finesse it, prep it and clean it and stuff. Now I talked about how I was going to weld on the inner sills a 5 by 1/4 inch plate. The sills were all rotted out, the floor was all rotted out, but I wanted to cut the floor out anyway, so I could make it really strong and basically build a frame into the body. Even though it's sitting on a truck frame, I want this car to be very strong and last forever. Plus I want the body to sit down very low on the frame to get the look I'm looking for. Anyway, so the very top of the sill, like I've said before, was actually in decent shape. Although the inner sill and the outer sill were totally rotted away. Plus it's very thin metal. So, I welded my 1/8 of an inch plate in there. I've got my 1.5 by 1.5 steel tubing on the outside. And I've actually got an angle iron welded on the inside to support the cross sections. And, I've done all my mounts and stuff in there to the original mounts on the truck. And anyway, so I've wired wheel all in here and I've cleaned it all with thinners because obviously I'm never going to be able to get back into that area there. So before I weld it up, which I'm sure most people probably don't do, I've cleaned it with thinners and then I've oscoed the hell out of it. It's actually this metal prep, the phosphoric etch is the main thing. It actually kills the rust and actually turns it back into metal. And I've used it on cars in the past, and it'll basically last forever. If you saturate the inside of the panel, you can't get to with that stuff. And especially if the car's kept in the garage a lot, it's really great. So anyway, I've cleaned all the grease off my metal. I'm going to close this up tomorrow, so this has got to sit on there for 24 hours. I've cleaned this piece of metal. They all come with a residue of oil on when you buy them. I cleaned it with thinners and then I put the rust etch prep on it to neutralize any rust, and it's also like a rust primer. And then tomorrow I'll come back in and I'll spray that with kind of a black wrought iron enamel in the spray cans, this kind of stuff, and just so it's got a coat of another barrier of protection in there. And then I'll stick this up on the outside, put it up underneath the lip here and start welding it in. And like I've said in the past videos, I've basically created a steel girder out of the sides of it with this big steel plate. So it's far stronger than it originally was. Doesn't look particularly pretty in there, but and I haven't bothered about cleaning up this and everything because the thickness of the metal plate I'm using far exceeds a couple of supports to support the center bit. I will weld up this with some nice thick metal and build that up, and then I'm going to redo my triangulation down to that 3-inch channel. And once I get the doors on, I'll align it, make sure it's aligned perfectly. This is really strong because of how I've done all the steel plate on the inside, which obviously didn't exist before. So anyway, so I'll close up that, and really that's the only bit inside the car, apart from like little areas inside there, which I'll spray a lot of OSPO, the metal etch, down into some of these gaps in here, just to protect it from the inside. And now I'll prep all the outside and prime it, and it'll all be good. Alright, so I wire wheeled inside here and osmoed it, let it sit for 24 hours, and then I just used some Rust-Oleum black paint, which I found to be pretty good for like frames and, you know, areas which I close up. But I'm going to weld a plate, you know, the outer sill over this, and but I wanted it to have some sort of protection before I do that, and I found that this technique has worked quite well for me in the past. So it doesn't look particularly pretty in there, but it obviously doesn't have to. In fact, a lot of that in there could be non-existent, because as long as I've got this bit here, that's all that's important, because I've got such a heavy-duty system on the inner sill, then a 1x1 welded to it, and then an angle iron welded to it, and a 1x1 here, and I'm doing a 5x8 inch plate on the outside. It is so overkill that nothing that was originally inside that really matters. Like this area here, you know, there was a little triangulation going down here, but the whole thing now is triangulated with thick metal. And then I'm going to reinforce inside, and I'll use some thicker metal on the outside here, cutting some plates, so this becomes really strong. So as far as strength is concerned, it'll be far stronger than it ever was.
So the car's coming along quite nicely, and like I've said before, I'm not trying to come off as some master car builder and stuff. You know, my skill level is pretty limited, like a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of people who's far more skillful than I am. But it's fun building something for yourself, and the amount of enjoyment you get out of something when you've built it yourself is just awesome. But a bit like the Johnny Cash song, you know, one piece at a time. And, you know, the end results can be really cool. And I've bought quite a few cars, and I've loved every one of them, and I really enjoy them, and that's the main thing. Okay, I had to change the gas tank to the back, so I decided on this 22-gallon 1971 Mercury Cougar gas tank, because it's filled from the rear, and it's perfect for my application. So I'm getting ready to bend all my pipes and stuff to make my side foot rails and my bars around the front underneath the bumper and everything. And you know, little design features like this can really set off your project really well. And I know you can buy these things quite cheaply, but you know, it's kind of more fun to make your own, and then you have a totally custom look. So as you can see on the front there, I'm establishing quite a good look using some pretty simple tools for cutting the pipe, and I got I think a Harbor Freight pipe bender I used, and kind of did it double barred there, and it gives a really cool look to it, and the car's starting to take its shape. Also, you know, you're thinking about proportions all the time, and you know, you stand back and you look at what you've done, and it kind of just pulls the car together. Anyway, it's definitely starting to take shape as the vision I have. So we'll continue with the video.
This is the passenger side front door of the 57 Dodge. Door's basically perfect. Just wire wheel it, rust treat it, grease up the things inside the door, and get a bit of glass, sand, prime and paint.
Hey, this door definitely isn't as good, and totally separated there. Anyway, you'll see how I repair it now.
Okay, so I've got two 1/8 inch pieces of angle iron welded in there now, but as you can see, this is very thin, so I'll probably replace that whole section, and it's just too thin. I'll cut it out and replace it. Right, so I'm finishing off the bottom of the door repair, and I've done my angle irons down here, and this, there's some holes in here, and I think I'm going to just reinforce it with some 16 gauge rather than just weld up the holes, and so I've made out a piece of metal to do that, and I'll tap this in place when I'm ready.
Now this one's really scary. Yeah, I'm almost don't know what to say about this one.
The whole bottom of this door is rotted. Side, bottom and front. So just have to take my time and work my way. This one came out nice. So all I need to do before the bodywork is I'll seam seal that with sandable seam sealer, and I can do the bodywork, prime it and paint it.
Where to start? Well, as you can see, I've cut it out and scratching my head working out how to do it, but just adding a piece at a time. And as you see, the end result actually looks pretty good. I even surprised myself. But by the time it's seam sealed, sanded, treated on the inside, it's going to be a pretty decent door. I'm quite pleased with it.
Alright, so I've repaired the bottom of the door, which was all rusted away. So I'm now going to do the face of the door. And the way I do it is, as you can see, as you know, I did the angle iron on the inside edge underneath here. So this now gives me a base to stick my other metal on, which is 1/8 of an inch thick. So that gives me a really good base to weld on. And then because I don't want warpage of the door, even though you're going to spot weld so it doesn't get hot, I am going to weld this 1/2 inch square tubing to the inside, which gives me another straight solid surface in order to weld my patch on and to prevent warpage. But as you can see, I put masking tape on exactly where I wanted to cut out and cut around the masking tape. I can use this as a template for my new piece. And I've vacuumed in here. Now I'm going to OSPO this. This doesn't look very good, but it's fine because it's actually connected very well down there and up here. And I welded it to here. So once that's wire wheeled and OSPO'd, that will not present any more problems. But as you can see, the whole bottom of the door is new now, and hopefully the face of the door looks pretty good in an hour or two.